Selected Diaries of Leo Tolstoy by Leo Tolstoy. So in this particular selection and translation, it's from 1852. And 1852 was an interesting year for Tolstoy because that's when his first novel that really put him on the literary map came out, called Childhood. And for being such a big and consequential year in his life, I would have thought the journal entries would be more involved, more thought-provoking, which they kind of start out that way. The first half of this collection, he's interacting with different things that he's reading. He's reading a book by this lady who's talking about the death penalty, how to deal with crime, how to deal with poverty, and so he's interacting with all of her arguments. And that part of the book was really interesting. Then the second half of the book, once we get further into 1852, it's much more of him saying things like, went pheasant hunting with so-and-so, no writing, or he'll say, had a terrible toothache today, laid down, no writing. And it's surprising to me how he's, in a lot of these journal entries, he's talking about how it's weighing on him that he's not writing, and he knows he should be. Tolstoy is a man who's constantly attacking himself for not being good enough. Like, I should be writing more, I shouldn't be so lazy. And his journal entries all reflect that. He does have occasional parts in the book where he talks about how much he's written, and he says this was good, this was bad, and he's really going through it. Without the context of this, if this weren't Tolstoy and if this weren't the year that he really breaks through as a writer, this reading itself would not be particularly interesting. The context made the whole thing enjoyable to read. And what a guy. I really wish I could go back in time and sit on a train and have a conversation with Leo Tolstoy. I don't think he'd be that friendly, but I bet he'd be interesting. So I give the book 3 stars. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below.